Hey guys, welcome to Backstage with Millionaires. I'm Caleb, your host, here to talk about all of the latest news that's been happening in India's startup ecosystem over the course of the last week. Today we'll be discussing OYO's unprecedented treatment of its employees, a global VC fund that has plans to launch its operations in India, the Indian government's response to Flipkart's foray into the food retail business, how the Indian startup ecosystem compares to other startup ecosystems in 2020, the companies that have laid off and furloughed their employees this week, how one SaaS startup is helping restaurants to fight back against COVID-19, all of the latest funding news and more coming up right after this. All right, first up in the news, in an unprecedented move, Indian hospitality giant OYO has announced that it's going to be granting ESOPs, that's employee stock ownership plans, to all of its furloughed employees in order to minimize the impact of this disruption on their lives. Apart from these furloughed employees, the company has also been offering stock options to all of its other employees too. That means that all of OYO's employees could end up being co-owners of the company. Talking about the decision in a letter, OYO's founder and CEO Ritesh Agarwal said that this is the first time in the history of the company that such a large part of the organization is being inducted as a stakeholder. That too at a time when some of you may decide not to be part of our future. This is a small token of gratitude from us for your contribution in building this company and for your unwavering support to us in good as well as bad times. Alright, next up in the news, according to Startup Link's Startup Ecosystem Rankings, India's startup ecosystem was ranked 17th in 2019 and has fallen 6 places to rank 23rd in 2020. Also, Bangalore, which has India's strongest startup ecosystem, saw its ranking decline from 11th in 2019 to 14th in 2020, while Delhi's ranking improved by 3 positions and is now just behind Bangalore at 15th. Now, don't get me wrong here, I love India's startup ecosystem, and actually I think that 23 is a pretty solid ranking. I mean, there are 195 countries in the world. That means that India's startup ecosystem is in the top 12% of all startup ecosystems. And that's not bad at all. But I also see that 12% as room for improvement. According to Startup Link's report, if India wants to improve its ranking, it's going to need to focus on strengthening its top 3 startup cities, that's Bangalore, Delhi, and Mumbai, while also strengthening and enabling the other 35 cities here in India that are ranked in the top 1,000 cities in the world. India can accomplish this by providing better regulations and infrastructure, and also removing barriers to entry for budding entrepreneurs. Alright, next up in the news, I don't know if you guys remember this, but last year in October, which feels like a lifetime ago, Flipkart, which is owned by Walmart, was busy setting up something that they were calling Farmer Mart to focus on the food retail business in India. In order to fully establish this new offering, they had to apply for a license from the government. However, after waiting several months, the Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade has rejected their proposal to enter the food retail business, citing regulatory issues. This news is definitely a setback for Walmart, which was looking forward to working directly with farmers to source their produce and sell it through its online platforms. While launching Farmer Mart last year, Flipkart's CEO Kalyan Krishnamurthy had said that the company was looking forward to investing in the local agriculture ecosystem and working with lakhs of small farmers to help them multiply their incomes while providing affordable and quality foods for its millions of customers across India. The company is in the process of evaluating the government's response and intends to reapply for the license. I also think that it's worth mentioning that currently the government allows 100% foreign direct investment in the food retail and e-commerce spaces, which means that companies like Amazon, Zomato, and Grofers have already received approval to enter the food retail business in India. Alright, next up in the news, cloud-based restaurant technology platform POSist, and you probably don't remember this because I don't think that we really had many subscribers at the time, but the founder of POSist, Ashish Tulsian, was actually one of the first people that we ever had on the show, and his interview was the second ever episode of Backstage with Millionaires. So his company has launched a new technology stack to help restaurants to accelerate technology adoption while ensuring both social distancing and minimizing physical contact. The company has introduced a new QR code-based digital ordering system that enables guests to seamlessly order their food by scanning a QR code to access the restaurant menu and place their order. Apart from QR-based ordering, the guests can also use the restaurant's Wi-Fi to directly order their food through a secure connection, making it even faster and more secure. After guests are finished with their meals, they'll receive a bill directly on their phones, along with the option to pay through an online payment gateway or cash. Alright, next up in the news, this isn't really a surprise, but it's still sad to see. There have been more layoffs and furloughs furloughs in India's startup ecosystem this week. First up, let's talk about MakeMyTrip. They're going to be laying off 10% of their workforce, which will affect 350 employees. The travel industry is one of the worst hit industries due to the novel coronavirus pandemic. India's travel restrictions have been really strict. And so in a letter to his employees, MakeMyTrip founder Deep Kaura said that the company doesn't expect the travel market to bounce back anytime soon, which has forced the company to reassess their business strategies and downsize their operations. However, all of the affected employees and their families will be provided with medical coverage till the end of this year, and they'll also receive gratuity payments and outplacement support from the company. MakeMyTrip was already struggling under the weight of the pandemic and had furloughed 3,000 of its employees in April. And because things haven't improved in the world, they're now being forced to lay people off. And then besides MakeMyTrip, we've also got online ticket booking company BookMyShow. Because of the coronavirus, they're going to be laying off or furloughing 270 of their employees out of the 1,450 employees that they have globally. Talking about the decision in an email to his employees, the founder and CEO of the company, Ashish Hamrajani, said that the company has cut all other expenses and renegotiated with vendors, partners, and landlords, and after exhausting all other cost-saving measures, we've taken this decision as a last resort. All of the impacted employees will be provided with financial support, health insurance coverage, and outplacement support. Also, the employees who are staying with the company have taken voluntary salary cuts ranging from 10 to 50%. Alright, next up in the news, global early-stage VC firm Antler is launching its operations in India and plans to fund more than 150 startups over the course of the next 4 years. Antler's operations in India will be led by Urban Ladder's co-founder Rajiv Srivatsa, who has also joined the firm as a partner. The firm is looking to invest in 40 startups during its first year of operations in India through an India-dedicated fund. Starting from Bangalore, the company wants to expand to other major cities in the next 3 to 5 years. Antler will be kicking off its 6-month-long program in the second half of 2020. This program will be running in 2 phases. During the first phase, they'll be helping entrepreneurs to find the right co-founders and develop and validate their ideas. After this first phase, Antler will be investing in some of these companies with a ticket size ranging from $100,000 to $150,000. Then the second phase, which will be lasting for 4 months, is going to start. And in this phase, Antler is going to be focusing on building and scaling their portfolio startups. Alright, moving on to some funding news now, omni-channel beauty retailer Nykaa has raised 19.6 crore rupees from Sunil Kant who's the chairman of Hero Enterprise. Earlier this year, Nykaa raised a total of 167 crore rupees from Chinese VC firm Steadview Capital, making Nykaa India's latest unicorn. Nykaa is among the few startups that have continued to raise funds this year despite the impact of the novel coronavirus. So far, Nykaa has raised a total of $145.9 million across multiple funding rounds from Steadview Capital, TPG Growth, and Lighthouse Funds. Alright, next up in the funding news, online auto marketplace CarTrade has raised 321 crore rupees in its Series H round from existing investors like Temasek Holdings, Warburg Pincus, and March Capital Partners. Post-investment, Warburg Pincus will be the biggest stakeholder with a 34.74% share, followed by Temasek Holdings, which will own a 26.72% share in the company. Also, the founder and CEO of CarTrade, Vinay Sankhi, will own 5.7% of the company. According to Ntracker, the company is now valued at 3,930 crore rupees, which is $525 million, and that's a 35% jump from its last valuation. The Mumbai-based company offers an online platform for its customers to buy both new and used cars. CarTrade claims to sell over 1 million cars every year through its network of over 15,000 dealers and more than 120 owned franchise stores. Alright, next up in the funding news, Chennai-based online financial services marketplace BankBazaar has raised 45 crore rupees in its ongoing Series D round from Amazon, Sequoia Capital, Experian Ventures, 8 Roads Ventures, and WSV, which is a joint venture of Walden International and Korean company SKTA. The founder and CEO of BankBazaar, Adil Shetty, said that in the post-COVID-19 world, the demand for contactless finance is going to grow exponentially. And this round of funding will help us accelerate our plans to implement contactless access to credit. Founded by Adil, Arjun, and Rati Shetty in 2008, BankBazaar has partnered with over 50 banks banks to enable its customers to compare and apply for personal loans, education loans, car loans, and home loans through its platform. The company claims to have over 40 million registered customers and achieved month-on-month operational profitability in March of 2020. Alright, next up in the funding news, Jaipur-based online custom furniture startup WoodenStreet has raised $3 million in its Series A round from the Indian Angel Network Fund and the Rajasthan Venture Capital Fund. Founded by Lokendra and Virendra Ranawat, Dinesh Pratap Singh, and Vikas Baheti in 2015, WoodenStreet started as an online platform for selling custom furniture. The company opened its first experience center in 2016 and evolved into an omni-channel furniture startup. With more than 25 experience centers across India, the company claims to have served over 50,000 customers across 300 cities. WoodenStreet is looking to sell furniture worth 100 crore rupees in the financial year 2021 and expects its revenues to grow to 300 crore rupees over the next 2 years. With this latest $3 million in funding, the company is looking to expand its global footprint by opening over 50 experience centers in the US and Europe. And the last piece of funding news that I have for you guys this week is that Bangalore-based IVF Access has raised $5 million in its Series A round from Vertex Ventures. Founded by Naresh Rao, Nikhil Rajmohan, Harinath Chakravarti, and Praveen Saturaman in 2019, IVF Access's aim is to increase the reach of assisted reproductive treatments in India through its chain of clinics using technology and its medical expertise. These funds will be used by the company to set up in vitro fertilization clinics across the country so that couples who are trying to have kids will have a better opportunity to do so. Also, Ben Matthias, who is a managing partner at Vertex Ventures, will be joining the board of IVF Access. Alright, that is all the startup news that I have for you guys this week. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, please do leave a comment down below and let me know what your thoughts were on some of the things that we talked about today. Also, if you're not already subscribed, now is a great time to do so. We post new videos every single week about Indian startups, entrepreneurs, and the latest news. So hit subscribe, and also if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button as well. And if you know of somebody who you think would enjoy this video, then please consider sharing it with them. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Backstage with Millionaires, and I will see you in the next one.